Okay. I think we were having some technical difficulties. Rebecca's messaging me. I exited and logged back in. All right, I'm gonna get started because it's 8:34 and I want to keep you guys too long. Okay, so 2 weeks ago I discussed or reviewed Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller, and I really enjoyed it, right? So book 2, so if you haven't read book 1, I'm going to share the synopsis for book 2, and the title kind of gives some air of mystery away too, but here it goes. Alosa's mission is finally complete. Not only has she recovered all 3 pieces of the map to a legendary hidden treasure, but the pirates who originally took her captive are now prisoners on her ship. Still unfairly attractive and unexpectedly loyal, First Mate Ryden is a constant distraction. But now he's under her orders, and she takes great comfort in knowing that the villainous Vorden will soon be facing her father's justice. When Vorden exposes a secret her father has kept for years, Alosa and her crew find themselves in a deadly race with the feared Pirate King. Despite the danger, Alosa knows they will recover the treasure first. After all, she is the daughter of the Siren Queen. Hey, Ginger Mermaids. That broken step. See how we're doing here. Try to invite Rebecca again. Okay, so going back to the review. So we have a YA 16 rating for this with a sexual content of 2. Okay, the reason for the rating, here we go. There's moderate violence throughout. Okay, it's very on par with book 1. It might go a little step above, I feel like, in this book. Same things as before, the insinuation of wanting to rape or raping someone, but you don't see it. There's nothing really described. Mildly sexual charged comments, mild curse words, murder, non-sexual nudity, acts of undressing, passionate kisses this time, very passionate kisses. Mild flashbacks of parental abuse. And when I say there's passionate kissing with alluding to sex happening. Like, you don't see it, you're not with the people, you're not with the partners, or you're not with the characters when sex happens, but it's alluding to sex. So you kind of know what happens, but that's why it got a rating of 2. Oh, hello. I see a nice hand.
Yeah. Give me a minute because I wanted to throw my phone across.
I'm sorry. I'm just going through the review right now, so you do what you need to do. So you get yourself settled. I'm going through the book review right now. I still give this 4 stars, and again, I really enjoyed the audiobook. Everything was great with this book. The only thing with this, I think I shared last time, that I didn't really love the amount of violence and the strong, mild to almost moderately described graphic violence. I mean, they are pirates, so if that's your thing, that's great. But the other thing was there were cursed cannibals this time, so that got a little bit intense. So I didn't really care for that. But then keywords here, again, keywords or your vibe words, your buzzwords of things you might, that if you like these things, and you probably would like this book. So we got the swashbuckling pirates, ocean storms, enemies to lovers, forbidden romance, hidden dagger, hidden identity, smart and strong cast of female characters, pirate politics, passionate kisses, revenge, proving oneself, fade to black, smolder, sirens, swoon-worthy kisses, who can you trust, morally gray, heroes, loyal family, found family, Pirates of the Caribbean, treasure, no one left behind. So there's my review.
Well, and I missed
it's
so
okay.
much.
It's okay. Technology is great when it works.
Can you expound on these cursed cannibals? I mean,
Well, no, because I don't want to give any spoilers, but just I wanted people to know that there is a scene with it, and I mean, cannibals do what they
Yeah.
do.
Mm. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you
So
like this?
it
You
goes
like
a little
this?
bit to like the moderate
You
description
like
of
this
that.
book as much as you like the first one, or?
Yeah, I did. Minus the cannibal part. That was
So,
nothing.
so tell me what you're reading now, since I totally missed the review. I'll have to go back and watch it.
No, it's okay. I didn't give a lengthy review. What I'm reading now is I need to pick up Lisa Turker's Good Boundaries and Goodbyes again. It's just I've been having a hard time this week with migraines. So again, that's why you see me with my tissue to wipe my eyes and my Specs. I ventured into, I'm going to be reviewing it not next week, the week after when it's my turn again. I will be venturing into something called Zodiac Academy. This
Okay.
has been a huge, I've seen it not only on TikTok, but also Instagram. But it's was huge on TikTok, and I felt like I put it off because it is quite the commitment. So book 9 is coming out, I think, in sometime this year.
9. Wow. 9 books.
Yeah.
That is a commitment.
Yeah. Yes. And then I heard, like, I've just discovered this, but apparently after book 3, you're supposed to put it down, and there's another series that's connected to the same world, and it will have characters in it that you're going to see in the other books. And it gives, like, more backstory and all the things, I guess. But that's, like, another 4 or 5 books, and I'm like, I don't.
So is this book YA, Laura?
No.
Is it marketed as YA?
No, it's marketed as NA, which is
new adult. Yeah.
It would be for us. It would be like supposedly the SAS, like the sweet and sour. No, it's adult.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll talk more. About it with my review. I was actually working on my review today. I don't know if I'll finish the series, but we'll chat. Maybe you all can convince me, because I kind of feel like I was swindled a little bit.
Well, we have some new viewers on tonight. I think I see Darcy. Hi, Ginger Mermaid. But so for those of you that are just joining us, Bloop exists because we wanted a tool that kind of gave a little bit more content. You know, movies have content ratings. Books don't. Books have genres. They don't have content ratings. And sometimes you pick up a book and you're reading it, and you think it's a book for you, and then you're like, whoa, you know. Granted, we don't like all the spoilers or anything like that, but we wanted a tool that gave us some content ratings, because we here at Bloop believe that readers have a right to know what they're getting into when they start reading a book. So we came, Laura came up with it.
Sorry. I was saying readers need something consistent, right? Yeah. So reviews are very opinion orientated. A content rating gives you a guideline of what you can kind of expect. So, you know, what you can kind of expect from the level of content, like things that will probably be in this book. And then therefore that allows you to decide as a reader, is that going to work for you? Is that like your taste? You know, if not, you can look elsewhere. So I think by you know, having our content ratings and pairing it with a review will give plenty of feedback, but not ruin the story for you or give you spoilers. Right. Ginger Mermaids, I am now heading out to sea, gonna sink some pirates. Go for it.
Well, we just kind of wanted to give a little brief overview there for those of you that are new to watching us live. We also, since Laura did her review tonight, I am going to be talking about some stuff that is kind of a bookish topic. So what happens is Laura will do a review, and then I will talk a bookish topic. Next week, I will do a review, and Laura will speak on something bookish related. We're kind of trying to give each other a break, because we read a lot, and there's so many books that we have to read.
We're busy
Yeah.
women. We're busy women. Because not only do we do this, but you guys, we just filmed 4 episodes for you over the weekend. Because not only do we read books on our own, but then Rebecca and I read books, we buddy read books. And then, so when we meet in the studio together, it's going to have a little bit of a different feel. It will be spoilers in the studio. Because we both read it and we want to engage in conversation and talk about the book. You will have a fair warning when the spoiler scenes are coming. We start off the episode with no spoilers, and then we're like, warning.
Yes.
Spoilers come, and so it gives you a chance to kind of skedaddle out. But these during the week are spoiler free, and it's books we read on our own.
Exactly. And we're also reading for book club too. So we have a lot of books that we need to read. So that's why we're trying to like kind of flip flop on the weeks on when we give a review versus when we talk bookish topics. And as Laura said, we're going to be coming out with probably our first episode on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure which day we're going to pick, but I think we're going to start off with Defy the Night by Bridget Kimmerer. That'll be our first Saturday special, so to say, or Sunday special, whatever we call it. I don't know. We haven't gotten that far yet. But tonight, I'm going to talk about...
Duet in the studio.
Yes, in the studio.
Maybe we should have y'all both, but duet in the studio maybe? Who knows? We'll see.
Yes. Tonight, I'm going to talk about literary tropes. I mean, we hear them all over the place. We hear them all over Book Talk. If you're not on Book Talk, then maybe you're not as saturated with them. But we use them on Bloop a lot. At Bloop a lot, we hashtag or tag something that says, you know, you heard Laura talk about earlier about different tropes that were in the book that she just reviewed, Daughter of the Siren Queen, I think.
Yes, so they were just tropes. I also use buzzwords or like keywords, vibes, but yeah, some of those were tropes in there.
Okay, yeah. So I recently read an article from the Slate. Don't come for me. The Slate that came out in late December 2022. And I might be dating myself a little bit here, but prior to learning about TikTok and the tropification of books, that's a word now, tropification. I used to think that tropes were cliches that should be avoided in writing, right? But now it's a whole thing. So tropes are all over Book Talk, and they're used as an internet shorthand to help people find their next read. The use of tropes is touted by YouTubers, social media influencers, and bloggers alike. But what are they, and why are they so popular? Webster's Dictionary definition, number 2, because there's multiple definitions for tropes, is a common or overused theme or device. There has been, and there's been some controversy on the subject of using tropes to describe a book. Hashtag enemies to lovers. That's a trope.
BS.
Huh?
Keep going. That's BS, though. Keep going.
I know. It's not only boosted sales, but some have argued that it might be taking the lazy way out when authors learn what the most popular tropes are and then they start writing those books. Others think that the use of tropes as an SEO is a search engine optimization. It's what I just talked about. It's buzzwords, it's keywords that we put in. We use them at Bloop a lot. For instance, the book that Laura just reviewed, we will tag it and say, we'll tag when our YouTube video goes live, we'll tag it and say hashtag Daughter of the Pirate King or Daughter of the Siren Queen, hashtag the author. Because if somebody's searching for those things, we want our content to come up. So that's what an SEO is, just so you know. So others think that the use of tropes as an SEO term could be determining national bestsellers and pop book recommendations. Okay, personally, I think that with any knowledge comes responsibility. I think there'll always be people that will capitalize on all the good that tropes do, and maybe they should. According to the New York Times, authors featured on Book Talk were up another 50% by July 2022. Total sales of genre books were up in 2022 as well, whether or not such books were featured on the app, on TikTok. People are reading, and that's very good in my opinion. I think if an author chooses to take a shortcut and write something in a particular trope just to sell more books, that might show through in their writing, and readers will be able to figure that out. Again, I'm digging this whole tropes thing and how I'm seeing them used. We even use them here on Bloop, like I've said. And I just see them as another really wonderful tool that can be used. What say you, Laura.
I think that is that's not understanding or not like in terms of who wrote the article. I find it interesting that they like that there was any controversy to be had, like, oh, if they're writing to the trope. Writers have been writing to what's popular or what's a trope for a long time. When Stephanie Meyer put out Twilight, you don't think there was a million vampire books that came about?
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Because it's popular. It's so I wouldn't say that they're only writing for that, but like you're gonna seek inspiration, and it's like if your goal as an author is you want to be an author, you gotta make it costs a lot of time and energy, and especially if you're a self-published author, it costs a lot of money to publish a book. At least $5,000. So
but there's like a bajillion tropes out there now, and
there's so many, and you can combine them in any sort of fashion. You don't just have to have one. But I just feel like in terms of what the article was saying, it was like they didn't take into account that like that's already been happening for a long time. Now it's just easier to try to figure out what's popular.
It's like and now it's not like everything now. But
now it's not just, this is what's amazing, is it's giving power to readers' voices, and it's not just big publishing houses deciding for us what's popular.
Well, no, because now, like another article that I read too, it's bringing back the bookstore, like the Barnes and Noble, the Books A Million or whatever, they were kind of phasing out, and now they're coming back to life. They've got like little shelves that say Book Talk made me buy it, that kind of stuff, with multiple genres. But like I said, there's a jillion genres, and people make them up all the time. They make more up. And every time I think I know them all, there's more. I mean, it's just, and information, it's like the news, people think, oh my gosh, is the world worse than it used to be like when I was little? No, it's the same kind of stuff going on. It's just we know about it now. We have it. We have it at our fingertips. We have it in our hands, our phones. It's all over the place.
Yeah, so, we get real like something could happen across the world, and we know about it instantaneously. Whereas before it would take weeks for stories to come about. Something happens in a little town of Wheeling, Illinois. It takes weeks for it to come across even our country versus it, let alone international. So, but
I think
real time.
Tropes are helping our independent authors for sure, our indie authors. They're helping them gain traction. They're helping them sell more books. They're helping them become recognized and known, like Colleen Hoover and a bunch of others. Emily McIntyre, I reviewed her book Hooked like a few months ago, and I mean she blew up in like 2.5 years and became this #1 bestseller. And there's tons of them out there.
With the dual authorship of Zodiac Academy.
Yeah,
big time.
So I'm just going to give a couple examples of tropes, and I'm going to ask Laura to help me here because there's some of them are still new to me. She's teaching me a lot, and I'm learning a lot, so. But by far, the most popular trope on TikTok is enemies to lovers. And I'm telling you, it's popular because it got 4.2 billion views. And the hashtag enemies to lovers books got 78.2 million views. So enemies to lovers is by far the most popular trope out there. And there's enemies to lovers is obvious, right? It's two people that don't like each other, or at least one of them doesn't like the other one, and now they're stuck together somehow, and eventually they grow to like each other, right? That's enemies to lovers. Some of these you can kind of figure out.
And a book example would be The Hating Game.
Yeah, The Hating Game. That was a good one. They didn't like each other at all in that one. It was great.
Well, he was kind of grumpy, right? He was grumpy. She was all bubbly sunshine, and he was just like, why? Why? And it happened one summer. Piper was all, is it Piper? Was that her name? Piper was all happy, and then the male lead was the grumpy fisherman. Like, how do you come in here after all these years? We took over this bar. It's ours.
Yeah.
So
I like enemies to lovers. It's one of my favorite too. I mean, I hate to be.
No, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Grumpy Sunshine.
No,
that's not enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers.
Sorry, people. Those two were Grumpy Sunshine. Those two were Grumpy Sunshine. So sorry.
Well, okay. Sorry. We'll talk about Well, now we've covered two. We talked about enemies to lovers, which is one or both people hate each other and then they grow to like each other. Grumpy Sunshine is one person is grumpy, Gus, and the other one is all sunshine and rainbows and happiness and all of that. Yeah. Another one is morally gray villains. Morally gray villains. Villains that might not be heroes. Villains that might not be. This was number 2 on the list. This is villains that might not be completely evil, but also not completely good either. And these are fascinating. I love morally gray villains at all because they're fascinating in determining the direction of the story. They may have their own moment of redemption, but they do require a great deal of character development. So I love a morally gray character. This happened to me. I mean, we just reviewed a book that had a morally gray character and Defy the Night.
Yeah, so, Prince Korik and Defy the Night.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
he's a morally gray
hero.
We can't say no. I mean, he would be the villain in the eyes of the wild.
Well, sure. Yep.
Citizens of the wild. I guess you could say a morally gray villain.
Well, a Hook. In the book I read, in the book Hooked, morally gray, he's James Hook was morally gray. You never really could quite tell.
Did you ever watch the series Once Upon a Time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Hook in there was a morally gray villain, and same with Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes. So yeah, those are morally gray.
Yeah.
Another one, I don't really like this trope, but it's I hate everyone but you. That's a trope.
Oh yeah. There's something special about you, but and then, well, here's another, this is how I really like with the morally gray villain, right? I love when it's like the morally gray hero will burn you to save the world or something like that. But the morally gray villain will burn the world to save you.
Yes.
Talk about toxic relationships, but it's fantasy.
I prefer the villain, just saying. Yeah, I hate everybody but you. One character is completely miserable and needs everyone to know that they're miserable, but they end up meeting
Twilight.
Edward from Twilight, yeah, but they end up meeting somebody that that just makes them blossom or whatever. Yeah, Edward from Twilight is a very good example of I hate everybody but you, because he was always walking around all moody. I don't know where we're at on time. I don't have my clock, so I have no idea.
3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes. Okay, well then I'm gonna throw one out. There's so many.
Maybe 5 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes because we were the whole technology business. So let's give it 5-ish minutes.
True. I'm just gonna rapid fire some, and then I'm gonna ask you about one because I really want to know what it is. All right. So, right person, wrong time. That's kind of self-explanatory, right?
Sucks.
Only one bed. This is fun. Where you're like thrown into a situation where there's only one bed and somebody either chooses to sleep on the floor,
a guitar. I know those things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Fake dating, where you end up pretending to be in a relationship.
By Al Kennedy called The New Deal. Yeah.
Yep. Magical gift. This is a fantasy trope. I'm not really sure what that one is. Laura could probably tell you.
Magical gift?
No, magic. I didn't mean gift. I meant girl. Magical girl.
Like she discovers she has powers type of situation, like my book.
Yes. I guess so. Yeah. Like Laura's book. Yeah.
They get to a certain age and they discover like, oh, you are, there's that usually accompanies like a chosen one trope or like something like that.
I have the chosen one written down here too. But I want to know about this trope called why choose. We touched on it last week and you were asking me about why choose, and I want to know about it.
I only heard about it last week, and again, you come across all sorts of things on Book Talk, and I keep getting sucked into it. It keeps trying to bring me back to smut talk, and I want to go back to non-smut talk. So every once in a while, a video will pop up, and I'll learn a new term that I share with book club or you guys, trying to be like, have you heard of this? What is it? And so why choose was something that I've heard of. Now, I'm a little confused because I don't necessarily understand how it differs from something else, but why choose is typically found in like harem or reverse harem books. So it's kind of like, why choose when I could have
both of
all
them.
These different, yeah.
So it's not like choose one.
But I think
why choose it all?
Different. I think it's different than harem, reverse harem, in the sense that normally in those books, I feel, I don't really know, I actually haven't read that, but I feel like where it's different is when there's, because when I say harem or reverse harem, we're not talking about some ruler who has a little harem. It's usually like a character and they have like 2 or 3, 4 partners, right? And then at some point they make a decision. Which of these people do I want to choose to spend my happily ever after with, right?
Right.
And I think in this scenario, they all choose to continue to allow that.
Okay.
See, I couldn't read that because I'm not. That's not for me. No. I couldn't read that. That's not for me.
That's not for me either.
None of that's for me. I'm not judging if that's your thing, but for me, that's a major ick for me. No, thank you.
Actually, I think that
same love triangles. It's like, to me, love triangles is like a very PG-13 situation, right? But I hate love triangles. For me, they're super stressful. Someone always gets hurt, and then I really have a hard time because I'm a number 6 on the Enneagram, and I'm a loyalist.
Me too.
And I feel like, yes, so do you feel like when you're reading that there is one character who just makes sense and or they were there first? It's like, hello, you have history. You were there with them first. Like, they're it.
Yes, but now, Twilight
Don't
had
get me the adult conversation that sometimes that first person isn't the best for you or blah, blah, blah. Listen, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm just saying. But like Twilight, saying,
like usually I have to find something I don't like about a character when there's like a love triangle, and then it's an easy decision for me. But like the book that I just reviewed last week, One True Loves, both of those guys I liked equally, so that was really, really hard. So you have to kind of think a little bit more.
I told you last week, love triangles can go, and I don't like them.
But were you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Like, I'm Team Jacob all the way. Did you see Jacob?
Even a consideration. He wasn't even part of the triangle. He wanted to be in there and make it a triangle, but there was never a triangle. She never loved him like that. She always loved him as a friend. And he almost pushed himself on her, and then he manipulated her to kiss him.
Well, he was created for her daughter anyway, which is kind of gross, but I'm just saying, like, if it were me, I was Bella and Jacob and Edward were whatever, I would have been like, okay, you know what? You're cold. You're pasty. I get that you have powers, but so does he. I'm always cold. Listen, I'm going over here when he is. Just saying.
Listen, I will say, that Stephanie Myers and I, we saw eye to eye because she pictured a young Henry Cavill when she created Edward. And I felt that in my soul when I read that book. Team Edward, Jacob was illegal. Edward's age gap, we're old enough, it's all good. Jacob immediately was illegal, not even on my radar. He was a child.
But did you see him? I'm just saying. He had muscles. Edward had. Anyway.
I do think Robert Pattinson could have, hit the gym a little bit to be a little more sculpted for his role. He was supposed to be like, Michelangelo sculpted and things like that, but that didn't happen.
It's true. He did play a good vampire,
I'm talking the book, Edward. I'm not talking the movies. I'm talking in the books.
Yes, in the book, the book was way better.
I would love for them in another, 5 years to redo that trilogy. No, it's not a trilogy. It was 4 books. So I'd love for them to redo that whole series because I still love it. People hate it and they're like, oh, it's so toxic, whatever. I'm like, not from what I've been seeing on Book Talk all over the place, but there is controversy. I love it, and I want them to redo the movies because they need to be redone. They need to be redone. It is the only movie. Movie 1 was the only movie in my life I have almost walked out on and asked for a refund.
Book 1 or movie 1? Oh,
and I don't understand because I know that the books are always better for the most part. Usually 99% of the time the book is always better, right? So I knew that going in. But the thing I think that aggravated me the most was they didn't even take the time to explain the eye color changing. And that was just a little thing. The thing that messed with me the most was Bella and Edward's relationship, and that there was just this immediate assumption, like he looked like he was going to throw up and then he disappeared for a few days, and her response to him is, you left me, like you just disappeared. And I'm like, you guys haven't said 2 words to each other. What is going on? What is this? It made it creepy. And then there was like this whole like, hey, I'm Edward, like, I hate my life. Like, I was like, no. No.
Well, maybe we should reread it and review it. I don't know that I necessarily have to reread this book. I kind of know it, but anyway, maybe we could do an episode just on Twilight books.
Maybe we need to, but I know we are currently buddy reading Penny Reed's Knitting in the City series.
Yeah.
So
hopefully the next time that Laura and I meet together, we will be doing probably the first 4 books in that series. So it'll be cool.
What book are you on? What book number are you on?
I just finished Neanderthal Seeks Neanderthal Marries Human. Yeah, I just finished that one. So, and I haven't started reading anything else. So I'm gonna have to move on to book 2. But
okay, there are so many good quotes from Penny Reed. Like, this is when I wish I could read paper books more, because I feel like it's easier than to just highlight the quote when you come across it or like tab it really quick. It's really hard and difficult because I'm always moving and doing something when I'm audiobooking. So it's really hard to like press pause, get something out to write it, or like, I know you can like tab something and it will like save that little snippet, but I have to remember to like then go back and write it.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Henry Cavill, like I'm listening to book 3 and there's like so funny. There's a quote and it's like, Henry Cavill is proof that God loves straight women.
That's awesome.
Penny, we're the same. So she knows. She's great. It's great. And it's like her the characters' top 3 list of like most attractive man is like Henry Cavill, the actor, and Henry Cavill as Superman. She just, I don't normally laugh out loud when I read a book. Like I might cheese smile or something like that. But Penny Reed, there's always like a moment in her books at some point that just like allows me to laugh out loud. So she's fabulous.
Penny is one of my favorite authors for sure, for those reasons.
Yeah.
But guys,
and she's not like, there's no ick with like her scenes.
No.
So if any of you don't know who Penny Reed is, her first series, not her first series, but her full complete series of Knitting in the City is, I think it's 7 books with a novella, so that makes it 8, is free on Audible. If you're an Audible member on Amazon, then they're free to you. Listen to them. So she does have some spice, but like the series starts off very clean and it will gradually get spicier. But like in book 2, like you can choose to read the closed door scene or choose to read the spicy scene, which I had forgotten about, so I would really appreciate that. But also in her scenes, they're very like tasteful. Like they're not going to be they're going to be descriptive, but not like overly descriptive, if that makes sense. So I think it will hit the button for those who like spice, and then those who kind of want to skip it. You're not going to be reading pages and pages and pages of like the act, you know, so you can skip a little bit ahead and then still be in the story a lot.
Exactly.
So,
all right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully you'll join us again next week. And until then,
really quick, if you have been listening, your favorite trope or tropes plural, leave it in the comments.
Oh yes, for sure. Leave it in the comments. Let us know what your favorite trope is. Again, mine's probably morally gray villains. But I do. Well, no, I like it messy. I like messy books.
Not dirty. Sorry, not dirty. I didn't mean dirty. I meant messy. It was the wrong word. I'm so sorry. That was my bad. That was an accidental word.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
But subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and like us on all the things: Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. We're out on Rumble now, guys, so please go to Rumble and like our channel on Rumble. And what else? What else can I tell you? Did I miss anything? TikTok. Yes, we talked about TikTok, so make sure to go out and watch us on TikTok.
Yeah, we really would love to engage with you guys too on TikTok, but my author account you have to have 1,000 followers in order to go live, or if you wanted to join in on a live, you have to have 1,000 followers. So my personal author account has that, but the Bloop account and Celtic Bee, because like we talked about earlier, like Rebecca and I are reading about a book a week, if not more, which is already taxing, and she's got a full-time job. She runs the Celtic Bee, which is an amazing business. If you haven't seen it, you need to check that out as well. But we're trying to build the Bloop account and her Celtic Bee so that we can go live via TikTok as well sometimes, because it's a great platform.
Yes, it's a great tool to be able to use, and we'd like to use it. So help us by going out and liking those. That would be awesome. Yeah. Even if you don't like.
On our website, blooppodcast.com, if you don't have time to listen to the full review, we've kind of summarized it for you and made it really easy. It will tell you what the content rating is and why we rated it that, and then give you some buzz keywords on, you know, our overall opinion of the book. But it's going to be very short for you. You can easily go to the website, find the book we've done, click on it, and it will have, you know, all that for you right there.
Yeah, and our content ratings are out there too. Our content and sexual content ratings are there, so you can read them. The description, I can't even talk anymore. Description of each, so that you have it right there, so you can see how we rate things. So.
Yes, but we also explain with the rating based on the content rating. Yep. We explain why it was rated, like what it has in there that made it that rating. So you don't have to keep going back and forth if you don't want to.
All right, guys. That's it for us tonight. Until next week, we hope you have a wonderful evening and happy reading. Bye.
Yes. Have a good one.